Hello, welcome to Odiham Postcards 2. I thought today we'd do something slightly different and look at one thing in particular, something that may occur to me as I go through it. I've got this little book. It came out quite some years ago by the late Anne Pitcher, and did all sorts of local histories. And then she used to sort of hawk them round and arrive at the door and say, would you like to give some money in order to sponsor a page or something? You've got to hand it to her. Anyway, my interest was regarding the church. I don't think, I'm not a church goer myself. It says All Saints Church stands in a high position in the town. It is a large church which has stood through turbulent times. It was built around 1500 AD, in other words, in Tudor times, upon the site of the earlier Norman structure, which some authorities claim had a Saxon predecessor. And she goes on to quote something about the Doomsday book. Well, I don't think Odiham exactly shone in that era, but there must have been something around. And it was mostly Doggensfield, which is mentioned more by name in that time. Now, close to the church, this is quite a valuable little card I bought, and it is the stocks, which in those days, literally people would be put in it and have things thrown at them. I think we should reintroduce this, actually. And this was the old jailhouse, which became the police station, which became the library, which became the telly cottage, which became a tennis court place or something. Yes, it did. It did become a tennis court place. This card was, I think it's Edward the Sixth, isn't it? Edward the Seventh. So, and it's 1905. So it's 116 years old. And the card has been sent to the Isle of Wight. Well, here it is back, not in its original state, nor in its original home, but nevertheless, I'm grateful to have this. The stocks can still be seen, but they're now in front of the church, and I think they've been sort of caged off for fear that somebody comes out of the pub and gets in them and starts throwing apples or something. I wouldn't put that past you either, so don't get clever with me. Here's some more. This is a foils card, which I bought some years back. I'm not sure that foils exists anymore. It was a local newsagent's. It's quite a nice gloss on that. Yeah, and once again, I can only say I'm not a photographer myself, but it seems to get most of it in, doesn't it? It captures the character of it. Here's a somewhat, here the churches. There's an attempt to get in the pest house here. There we are, the pest, La Peste. Wasn't that a book by Albert Camus? Do you have that? Well, even if you don't, there it is. This is an education card. I've never read this before. Never absent, never late. This card is given in exchange for 4 weekly attendance cards. So this must be some form of encouragement, maybe to the kids, I don't know, to turn up on time. There we are. Perhaps to the nursery school. Or the Sunday school. Sunday school would be the nursery school. Here's a divided one. This is a judge's card. All Saints Church, Odiham, Hampshire, it says. Judges' postcards of Hastings. That's right. I frequently used to go down to Hastings for chess, and my friend Peter took me, we went a little jaunt. In fact, I think we ended up in Eastbourne. How's that for geography? Because we want to go to Hastings. No, I'm just joking. And he showed me the judge's place. And there's the tower, which you can see probably on quite a summer day. I think that's quite nice. And a tree by it frames it quite well, doesn't it? This is a painting of the same church. There's quite rich colours in the sky. And a shadow being cast by the tree, and obviously the gravestones. It's All Saints Church, published by the Odiham Society, original painting by local artist Ray Millard. I think that's quite good, isn't it? I like that. Here's another foils card. There. These may have been produced on a shoestring, but I have to say I rather like them. Just looking through to see if I've got any more church cards. Here's one featuring the church, but also it's a composite card, including one of North Wanborough High Street. There, I think. Is it? Oh, there. There. And the church in the middle, and the High Street, and Odiham High Street there. And what else have we got? It says Gospel Green. I didn't know that. There's the War Memorial. There. Around the time of the Remembrance, Odiham has recently sort of got out its glad rags and celebrated, as well in might. Obviously 2017, the armistice, 100 years since the cessation of hostilities. This card is it's from the 1960s. There's a little stamp on the back. That's what's called a wilding. Huh. You get all sorts of information here, don't you? That's a wilding. It's a definitive. And in those days, it cost 2.5D to send a letter. Now, I challenge you to know how much it would cost you to send a first-class letter. One thing is for certain, it wouldn't be 2.5D. I won't read this card out. They're on holiday in Odiham. Odiham is a colourful small town, and the surrounding country is lovely with beautiful views of the many hills. I think that's true. There is a great number of attractive thatched cottages and signs, and they are like doll's house is. Pat is over the school on Sunday, the Sunday school, I suppose, and plays in a wonderful assembly hall, just like a theatre. Lucky children. There you are. Well, when that was sent to Mrs. Gerard of Worcester Park, Surrey, she little thought it would be read out again, the best part of 60 years later. And thank you for that, Mrs. Trellis, and keep writing, as Barry Took used to say. Here's another one of the similar, showing the stocks. There they are. And over here, some houses. Be nice to think it. Actually, I think it became a shop. In fact, I know it became a shop. It's interesting, shops come and go, don't they? These days, I'm afraid they just go. Be nice to think if you set up a shop, you wouldn't really expect passing trade. You might do things online. You might try to do things online. But in terms of actually somebody walking past and saying, oh, look, there's a little pet shop. Let's go in and buy 20 kittens. I don't see that happening. Anyway, this is the berry, this side, which you can't see. And again, these are the stocks. Now, opposite the church is the pub. And there's the pub, which is called the Bell. Well, it was then anyway. And it says it's a 12th century inn. And interestingly, I didn't realize this. This is from a line drawing, possibly a painting, by Anne Pitcher that wrote the book I've just shown you. I didn't realize that. It's by Anne. So there we are. That's nice. And also in the berry, here we are. There, how about that? And it goes through to show the Oast garage there, which is also where we used to live, overlooking the garage. The view reproduced over leaf is from the Francis Frith collection. If you go online, you can look up Francis Frith and add little points of history or local stuff like I'm doing now. Yeah, just all adds to the dimension that card collecting does. It says that the archive contains 300,000 views of 4,000 towns and villages in Britain between 1860 and 1970. So in other words, a sweep of 110 years. I'll just see if I've got any more of the Bury or the church. I don't think I have. No, these are some I'll come on to another occasion. Let's see. Oh, right. This is a little greetings card. Not Christmas or anything. It's just to lucky to get it out. There we are. Haven't prepared anything. There, various things, and there's the church, of course, which you can recognise. And there is a smaller edifice and the cemetery, which is actually on top of the hill up King Street. There's the High Street. There's the pest house, and there's the shop, or one of the shops. When I was a little boy, it was owned by the Whites. And David White, whom I still see around on occasion, went to my old school. That's just a sort of homemade one. Doesn't have anything inside. I thought it might have an inscription or something. It'd be nice to know who the artist was, wouldn't it? Doesn't say. Now you hold on there, because I haven't finished looking. There's one more. This is done by Peter Adams in 1989. There we are. I suppose that's a watercolour, is it? He's done it in a fairly straightforward way. Basic pastel colours, I suppose. The Bury, published by the Odiham Society with from an original painting by local artist Peter Adams. Well, I hope they paid him a few quid for this, and I hope also the sale of the cards did them a little bit of good. I'm not a member of the Odiham Society. I was very many years ago for a short while, but that's not the point. What is the point is, I hope you enjoy these cards. I think that's just about it. Oh no, there's a couple more here. Here's a painting, very much. It's interesting, they've drawn the fire of the church and all the foliage that surrounds it by putting in, is it poppies? I think it's poppies. Poppy field, Odiham, yes. The original painted by local artist Cherry Howard. Pity it isn't Poppy Howard. Probably shouldn't have said that, should I? That's quite good with the church appearing out from behind. I think that's really good. And one last one. This is quite an old postcard. I probably bought this as a fair in somewhere like Woking or something like that. There. Yes, that's definitely from a bygone era, isn't it? Let's see if I can work something out. This is published by Verstages. I mentioned Verstages last time. Miss Verstage, as a lady of mature years, worked in the newsagents, Verstages, when I was a child. So I think she probably passed away probably about 50 years ago, I should think, probably. And until recently, the shop was still a newsagent's. Anyway, this is published by Verstages. And all I can say is I'd like others in the set. I can pay them no higher compliment. Well, there we are. That's All Saints Church. This has been Odiham Postcards 2. Thank you for listening. I'm James Pratt. Goodbye.